All right, guys, welcome back to Torque Spec Garage. Today we are going to be doing some maintenance on my daily, which is a 2005 Toyota Camry. She's due for an oil change, so I figured why not make a little how-to video on how to do an oil change on these cars, even though there's probably a million already out there. You never know who might need to know how to do it, so stay tuned and we'll get started. All right, guys, so this is the car. Like I said, it's a 2005 Toyota Camry. Pretty indestructible vehicle. You know, I have a soft spot for Toyotas. Pretty much everything in my driveway is a Toyota. What you're gonna need to do this is a catch tray to catch the oil. You're gonna need a ratchet, a 14 millimeter socket, a funnel, 4 quarts of 5W30 oil. I use Castrol GTX high mileage. And you're gonna need a filter. I'm using the Napa Gold 7145. And you're also gonna need to be able to get the car up off the ground. So if you don't have a jack or jack stands, you don't feel like buying those. I bought these Rhino ramps from Walmart for, I think they were like 30 bucks. And I've had them forever. They work great for oil changes and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get under the car and we'll get started. All right, guys, first things first, we are under the car. This is your oil pan. This is your drain bolt. Like I said, it's a 14 millimeter. So you just want to get your 14 millimeter wrench or ratchet. Either one will work. And just go ahead and get it on there. I already broke it loose off camera, so it's already pretty loose. Get your drain pan underneath. Try not to spill this everywhere. Start letting all that drain out. And you always want to check your oil and kind of make sure it's not flaky, not metallic-y. Like I said, this oil only has, 3,500 miles on it, so looks pretty normal for Toyota. All right, guys, so once all the oil has finished draining out, we go ahead and get our drain plug put back in. And the torque on that is going to be 33 foot-pounds. I don't have an extra hand to hold my phone, so I'm going to put it down, torque it back. All right, guys, so I got the drain plug torqued back down. Just go ahead and give it a good wipe around. And then the filter on these cars is on the front side of the oil pan. It's right here. So what you want to do, they make a special socket to loosen this with on some because of how awkward it is to get your hand in there. But on a lot of these, you can just break it loose by hand. Like I said, they should not be too incredibly tight. There, everything looks good. All right, guys, so I got up in there and cleaned everything really good. On these especially, you want to make sure you clean your sealing surface where the O-ring is going to, sit on the new filter. So you just want to make sure all that's nice and clean. Wiped off the oil pan, all that good stuff. So now I'll go grab my new filter and we'll get it put on. All right, guys, so this is what the new filter is going to look like. Some of you may do this, some of you may not. I always have, so just by being a creature of habit, I always pre-fill my filters. I fill them up about halfway. I'm just a believer that it's an easier startup on the car, since it doesn't have any oil in it. A lot of people tell you don't have to do it. I always do it, so to each their own. And then I always take a little dab of oil and just put it around the O-ring just to kind of keep it lubricated. All right, guys, so you just want to put your new filter on And you'll feel it starting to feel like it's starting to get tight. And you just want to give it nice and snug. You know, you really don't want to over tighten these. It doesn't take much. Just a nice little hand tight and then give it a little extra. All right, so that's going to do it for underneath the car. Let's get up top and we'll get some oil put in it. All right, guys, so back up top, here's our oil fill cap. I'm gonna pop that off. Get your funnel. Grab your oil. And like I said, this car calls for 4 quarts. So you just want to add. Just keep an eye on your jug. On the back of the jug, there's a gauge that shows you how much you've put in so far. All right, guys, so you can see we have just below 1 quart left in this 5-quart jug. So let that settle for a second, and then we'll pull the dipstick, check it, and then add more if we need to. If not, we'll fire it up. All right, guys, so your oil dipstick is right here. It's on the front of the engine. So you just want to pull it out. As you can see, we are full. So let's get that put back in, and she is ready to fire up. All right, guys, so once you double check your oil level, you just put your oil cap back on, make sure it's tight, and then we can start it up. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. And then we can just climb under it, make sure nothing's leaking. So like I said, you just want to get down here, double check nothing's leaking. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, and that's all there is to it. Oil change is done. She's ready for another 3,000. Depending who you ask, a lot of people will say 3,000 is too soon, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I do mine at 3,000. It's a cheap kind of insurance, if you'll call it that. But I know people who go, you know, 4, 5, 10. But to me, that there's no 10,000 mile oil. There's just not. So do I do it too soon? Maybe, but it's my car, so it's just how I am. But and I realize, you know, filming with my phone, only having, you know, one hand to do some of this stuff is kind of difficult. So if you guys couldn't see something clearly, or you have any questions, just please feel free to comment your questions. I'll help you, you know, any way I can. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.